You ever get tired of people telling you to just download Linux and that Windows 11 sucks? Sure, I get it. Microsoft is overloading their operating system with a ton of ads, upsells, and unwanted in-operating system content. I even listened to the naysayers and ditched Windows way last year. And now that Microsoft is forcing their users to upgrade to Windows 11, lots of people are doing the same thing and switching to Linux. Is Windows 11 really that bad? I'm gonna find out. After almost a year of using a combination of Mac and various Linux distros, I'm going back to Windows to see, is it as terrible as we're led to believe, or are there ways to keep all the good parts of Windows and fix the bad parts too? And most importantly, was I wrong to switch away? So to find out, let's get a fresh Windows 11 install on my Framework 13 laptop. Thankfully, I have a spare SSD laying around with Windows 10 already on it, so I switched it over real quick and began the upgrade process. Now you may think that somewhere lurking in the menu is an easy upgrade button that just automatically applies the new operating system. But there isn't. You go to this website titled Download Windows 11 and you're presented with a long page of text and 3 options. Upgrade, create bootable USB or DVD with Windows 11 on it, or create an ISO image. Those last 2 options seem exactly the same to me, but apparently the latter is for creating virtual machines. All this, honestly, is a bit more complicated than I would like, but I appreciate the thoroughness of their guide. So for me and many others who just want to upgrade, you download the Windows 11 Assistant and follow the prompts until your computer restarts. So it's not bad so far. That is, until I got to the real Windows 11 out-of-the-box experience, also known as UBI or the OOBE. It asked me to connect to a network right away, and there's no going around it. There's no skip, only an option that tells you to go to their website to get tips on how to restart your Wi-Fi, plug in a network cable, or as a last resort, use your phone's hotspot. That's smart, Microsoft. You know everyone has a phone nowadays. And because I was so excited to actually use the OS, I typed in my password and it proceeded to check for updates and then restart. This took way longer than expected, and afterwards I was slapped with a license agreement that was too long to actually read. So I looked up some various TLDRs online, but those were long too. So the TLDR of the TLDR is Microsoft belongs to Microsoft and their developers, and you do not own it, so don't sell it or distribute it illegally. Seems alright. I pressed accept, and after naming my computer, switch and click, I was left on a screen telling me all about Microsoft's latest AI enhancements and security updates. Boy, that sounds exciting. So I flipped through the slideshow and the videos just for curiosity's sake. We'll make sure to explore all these new enhancements later. So this process took forever. I plopped my laptop in some corner and let it do its thing. And finally, yes, I could just use it now. But wait, first I had to sign into my Microsoft account. And again, there was no option to skip this step. You either had to sign in or make a new account, so I made one and moved on. I'm starting to see a pattern here. At this point, I really just wanted this over with, but there was more. I had to choose privacy settings, get asked to pair my iPhone to my laptop, look at and then promptly decline the various deals I was getting with Microsoft 365 Personal with 1 month free, or more cloud storage for only $1.99 a month, as well as a Game Pass Premium for another $14.99 a month. Then, and only then, I was in. Finally, I had done it. After about an hour of sitting there, waiting, clicking through unwanted material, I was there. It's almost as hard as installing Linux for the very first time. In fact, it might have been even slightly harder, since all the Linux distros so far have not asked me to connect to the internet or make an account before actually using it. But now, the real fun begins. And unlike Mac and Linux, Windows has a lot of settings that are undesirable to begin with. Like the lock screen is just a series of advertisements for Copilot, Microsoft 365 Premium, Edge, Bing, and wait, the weather? Wait a minute, I thought I disabled the location setting when I set it up. So how did Microsoft know that my laptop was currently in Farmers Branch? Well, that's oddly suspicious, but a problem I'll deal with later when I disable all the telemetry this thing could possibly have. Before that, I need to install OBS so I can share my wonderful experience with you. Thankfully, I'm on Windows, so you could install anything via .exe files. That's probably the best thing about Windows compared to Linux, how supported it is by all the developers around the world. Now, OBS here is quite the exception because they do work on everything. Actually, now that I think about it, there are way more cross-platform programs nowadays than before. But the great part is I can do all of this without using the terminal. While switching to Windows, I also thought maybe it's time to try a new setup as well, because if you work at a desk a lot, your neck gets achy, your back gets creaky, pretty soon you're looking like above sea level shrimp. Ew, shrimpy. When it gets this bad though, you can't just fix one thing at a time, like only getting a new chair or only a new desk. No, what you need is a full overhaul, something new, something bigger, something amazing, an entire system. That's why I've been using Huanuo's Ergo 360 system, today's sponsor, which is designed as a full setup that supports your body from your head bone to your toe bone, including your neck, spine, hips, and legs. Instead of guessing what you need, you start with their quick ergonomic quiz. It takes like 2 minutes and it gives you a personalized report that shows where your body actually needs support. For me, it called out my neck and my spine. So naturally, I went for the dual monitor arms and the ergonomic chair first to put my screens at eye level so I'm not shrimping anymore. Then I tried the Huanuo sit-stand desk that lets me swap between sitting and standing whenever I want. I also added their footrest, which sounds minor, but it helps circulation in your legs and takes pressure off your hips when you're locked in working for long hours. The big thing is everything works together as one system. Plus it helps me stay focused longer because I'm not constantly shifting around trying to get comfortable. So now my setup is cleaner, more coordinated, and way more comfortable, so I can actually get through long work sessions without feeling like I was hit by a truck afterward. If you're not sure where to start building your setup, Huanuo makes it really easy with their all-in-one Ergo 360 lineup with monitor arms, standing desk, ergonomic chair, footrest, and a cushion. You can take the ergonomic test for free to build your own personalized setup. Check them out in the description below. For you terminal lovers though, you can install programs that way on Windows by using winget. Just copy some commands into your PowerShell and Bob's your uncle. While I was there, I installed some other apps too, like Notepad++, as well as my most commonly used programs like Notion, Brave, LocalSend, etc. It's all listed in this other video here on free and open source software I use, so I won't dive into this now. But look, Windows is inviting me to learn more about the picture they use for the background. Don't you just love your operating system distracting you? I sure do. Clicking on it brings you to Bing, and while you're there, you can also install the Bing wallpaper app. While I do think they're pretty photos, I'd rather have a static photo without any ads. Just a clean, stereotypical picture of mountains with a sunset. It's calming, predictable, and safe. The start menu isn't much better. I've got something on National Bagel Day, a quote, a word of the day, and some trending searches. Ooh, now all these have gotta go, along with the pinned apps in the taskbar. Goodbye, Copilot. Oh, don't forget Edge, Microsoft Store, Recall, Outlook, and off I went, diving into the settings to turn off all the extra features that didn't help my productivity. Gone were the fun facts, the widgets, and other pre-pinned apps. So far, I'm about 2 hours in. I've done zero work. That's okay, because once I'm settled in, this is gonna be great. It'll feel exactly how I want it to be, or at least I hope so. Next, I dabbled in the AI tools. Maybe one of them could be helpful. The first was called Click to Do. Not the most catchy name, but easy to pronounce. It opened up, went into update mode, and told me to wait for about 2 minutes while it updated. So Click to Do lets you summarize your text, rewrite it, as well as edit pictures using AI, of course. It wasn't super helpful, and it really slowed down my laptop. Unfortunately, it's not the winner. So next up was Copilot, which is just like ChatGPT. It's not bad per se, but take it with a grain of salt, of course. And if I had to keep one, it'd probably be this one. The last one, Recall, well, that one's a doozy. It's supposed to take snapshots of your screen every couple seconds and promises to redact any sensitive private information. But how does it know what's private? So I opted out. It just seemed like a smart decision to say no to that one. Even though there was a part of me that really wanted to try it out, but privacy wins over curiosity on this one. So I am not impressed. So far, it feels like people were right. Windows 11 is as bad as they say, but there are ways to turn everything off. I could debloat it. There's still hope, because there are a lot of things that Windows does well, like how my microphone works. In every Linux distro, all I got from my microphone was this terrible static sound. It was so bad that I thought I was sent a faulty unit, but it turns out it works on Windows 11. It also connected to my printer, no issues. Same with my dock, no issues. Well, okay, that one required a driver, but that's normal. Now for the first true boss. Bluetooth, one of my everlasting nemesis. Works great on my Mac and so-so on Linux. Sometimes it pairs fast, other times it won't work at all. Where will Windows be on that scale? So it detected my Bluetooth module, which is good. That's a good sign, but then it didn't connect. Not to my LinkBuds clips, not to my AirPods, or even my Sony XM6s. This must be user error, because it does see all my devices. It just can't connect. That's when I realized drivers. Windows needs drivers to work. Of course, I was such an idiot. I looked up Framework Laptop 13 drivers, and there they were. You don't need them for Linux, but you do for Windows 11. And boom, once it was installed, I tried again with Bluetooth, only to face the same issue. But you know what fixes everything? Whether you're on Mac, Linux, or even your fridge. As an expert at solving problems, I knew the answer. A restart. The magical restart that fixes every problem you could ever have. And surprise, surprise, it did. Booyah! Now I could get to the good stuff, customizing my OS until I can use it as my main device. Once I opened up my music though, I was back to square one. Yes, my Bluetooth headphones had connected, but the audio quality was like listening through ham radio. Apparently, this is a problem with Bluetooth itself and not Windows' fault. Since the earbuds have a microphone, it uses something called a headset profile, which has mono audio. If I wanted nice stereo, I had to disable the mic and turn off the specific profiles. I mean, what will it be? Poopy audio with a mic or good audio with no mic? I really wish I didn't have to choose, and usually I don't. I've never gotten this problem on other devices, but for now, I'll keep my mic and just plug in my headphones for better quality. Okay, there's clearly something I'm doing wrong. I keep seeing people talking highly of Windows 11, and so far, it's been nothing but annoying. So I did some research and found this tool called Win11 Debloat. It's not a program, it's a script that you run in the terminal. It really is just a script from some dude named Rafire's GitHub page. Before, I did everything one step at a time, trying to find all the options in the settings to debloat my Windows, and as Rafire states, it was painstaking. The script has pre-configured options, or if you really want to control what you want to keep and what you don't, then you can go in and manually choose all the things it'll uninstall. It first goes through app removal, which includes things like Farmville 2 Country Escape. I sure hope I don't have apps like that. Or Cooking Fever. What the heck is that? Then it goes into telemetry, tracking, and suggested content, of which I kept none. I also removed all the AI features. I did keep light mode. It looks better for me on an OLED monitor. I also kept transparency effects. Fight me. I like some nice visuals. And on it went. There were a lot of options. If you're a power user, you'd get a kick out of running the script and fully customizing it to your liking. Eventually, I just settled on the default options. It was easier. It actually reminded me a lot of KDE, where there's an overwhelming amount of customization options. Way too many, and your brain just wants to shut down. Gosh darn it, I just wanted to use my OS already, not constantly fight it. There were just a couple more things I desperately needed to do. One was to move the title bar menu buttons from the right side to the left side. Yes, I'm one of those freaks. The other was to make my taskbar bigger without making everything else bigger. But after reading a bunch of forum posts, there aren't really any good tools to do either of those things, especially not on Windows 11. So I guess I have to live with that. Now the day has come, a full 2 days later after install, and I'm ready to commit to the full Windows experience. I plugged it into my dock, and there it was. My ultra-wide OLED monitor works great. My peripherals worked great. No drivers necessary, other than what I mentioned before. And now I get full access to Razer Synapse if I choose to. Just kidding, I won't be doing that. But it's nice to have the option to. And after the debloating, it feels snappier. The first day felt real sluggish, but without the bloat, it doesn't feel much different than using a lightweight Linux distro or even Mac. In fact, it feels good until I had to get on a Discord call. Remember the Bluetooth thing I had earlier? Well, in an attempt to have higher quality audio, I eventually turned off my microphone from my earbuds, so now I have to connect a dedicated external microphone to get on calls. Either that or go back to mono tin can audio quality. If anything, that might be the only remaining downside. Wait. Actually, there's one more thing. MacBook has a spotlight. It lets you open apps, settings, and even a calculator without many steps. All you do is press Alt Space, type what you want, and it does it for you. You can open websites, programs, and even settings without ever moving your mouse. How convenient. On Mac, I replaced my spotlight with Raycast, a similar thing but better, and apparently they launched a beta version for Windows 2, which I installed, and now I'm using. Whew, now that is nice. As the work week went by, honestly, it didn't feel too bad. The battery life was decent through meetings. I have it docked in most of the time anyways, and I actually enjoyed the UI. The file explorer was nice. It's got tabs. Moving around footage felt pretty familiar. Now it may be because I've used Windows before, but everything felt very natural, unlike my first switch to Mac. And the new Windows snipping tool gave me great power to mark up anything I chose to. On Mac, I have to send it to my phone, mark it, and send it back. Now this is true power. It's even got task view. Whew, that's so cool. And you've got workspaces. Things are not as bad as I thought. There must be some other things I was missing too. So I did some research. There's snap layouts that lets you split your windows however you want, and you can group them. What? I even learned a bunch of Windows keyboard shortcuts to speed up everything even more. And of course, Windows excels at gaming. It is, after all, the original gaming machine. Linux is slowly catching up, and Mac, well, I think Mac's given up altogether. Steam installs installs easily, games installs easily, they launch. Even launchers like Battle.net have no issues whatsoever. And you know what else? I don't have to worry about compatibility when using game controllers. They're almost always compatible with Windows by default. And Windows 11 has an auto HDR feature. That's nifty. I'm sort of wishing my laptop had a GPU in it now. Playing some real games sounds pretty appealing. So now that I've been using it for a while, after debloating, small levels of tinkering, it's actually a nice experience. Whoa, you didn't expect that, did you? You really get used to the Windows shortcuts and the workflow fairly quickly since it's familiar if you've used it before. Almost everything is based off of it anyway, so it feels good. And if anything, Linux has taught me that if something isn't how you like it, you can mess with it until you do like it. Find some open source programs, do some light modding, and wrangle it in until it behaves. I do agree that the default Windows experience is poopy. It sucks, but it cleans up nicely, except for Bluetooth earbuds. That part still stinks. Now, does that mean I'll be going back to Windows forever? No, probably not. But I can see the appeal. It also means that there's no singular winning camp on which OS is better. And if anyone tells you otherwise, maybe they just haven't experienced the best of every OS or modded it enough. The best one is the one that you personalize to your preferences. Whoa, that sounds like keyboards all over again, doesn't it? Anyways, just use what you have and enjoy. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. Peace out. But if Mac could game, that'd be game changing.